All right, looks like most people have joined us, so we're going to get started this evening. Um, Hello again, my name is Dan Murphy. I work with our marketing and enrollment team here with Brown Pre-College, and I'm excited to welcome you this evening to talk about our Summer at Brown program and student life. This is our final webinar of the season, and we are just so excited to talk to you about our largest program this summer. An agenda for this evening, we're going to provide a very brief general overview of Brown Pre-College. And I just want to reiterate that this is about Brown Pre-College and not about Brown University's undergraduate program. So this is a program for high schoolers. We'll review how to apply, and then I'll introduce our two guests who are joining this evening to discuss Summer at Brown and the student life experience. We will conclude today with a Q&A. This session should last about 30 to 45 minutes and is going to be recorded. So if you miss anything, you want to come back to it, or you know some folks who were unable to join us this evening, it will be live on our website and our YouTube in about a week, week and a half. Two things for this evening. We do have interpreting for Spanish available this evening. To access that, you would just click on the little globe at the bottom of your screen that says interpretation, and you can select Spanish. And then you can toggle on and off between Spanish and English. We also have closed captioning available this evening. To access that, just click on the little CC button at the bottom of your screen, and that will turn it on for you as well. Some general housekeeping. We love that you have all the questions. We received a lot of pre-submitted questions. As we go throughout this evening, feel free to submit any and all questions as they come to you. We will complete tonight with a live Q&A, but we also have two of our amazing program advisors with us behind the scenes, and they'll be answering as many questions as possible as we go along as well. Other thing I would like to remind people is everything we're about to go over this evening is on our website at precollege.brown.edu. So I highly recommend after this webinar, take some time to peruse our website. That's where the most up-to-date information lives. So let's dive in to Brown Pre-College as a whole, just a very quick overview. So each year we welcome more than 6,000 high school students from over 70 countries, including across the United States, who choose to spend part of their summer with us, whether that's here in Providence, Rhode Island, at locations around the world, or online. These students explore over 300 courses. I believe we're at almost 350 this summer, that are intentionally crafted to emulate the undergraduate open curriculum here at Brown. And the structure of Brown's pre-college programs reflects that freedom and responsibility that we believe are critically important parts of the college experience. So as a result, you'll balance the challenge of college level academics with the enriching social activities and educational workshops that are available whether you choose to study on campus or online. And we'll actually be going more into those a little bit later this evening. Regardless of which program you're interested in, the first step in your pre-college experience is completing our application. Our application is actually designed to mirror the common application, which is used by many colleges and universities. And so as such, the pre-college application process will actually help prepare you for that college application process, including adding transcripts and thinking through and crafting an essay based on a unique writing prompt. Our summer 2024 application is open now, and the deadline for applying is Friday, May 10th. We are seeing high demand this year, so we always encourage folks, if you're really interested, apply sooner rather than later. You can find our application checklist on our website by clicking on the apply button at the top of the page. And that's where you can find the essay prompts, our grade requirements, and everything else that you'll need to provide us for a complete application. There's also a video tutorial on there where we show you step by step what that process, the application process, looks like if you want to watch that before starting your application. So that's just a very general overview of our application process and timeline. So let's switch gears a little and dive deeper into our largest program, which is Summer at Brown. I'm pleased to introduce our guest speakers this evening who will be providing this overview, Yolanda Davis and Brittanny Connelly. Hey, Brittanny. Hey, Yolanda.
Hi, Dan. Hi, everyone. My name is Brittany Connelly. I use she, her pronouns. I'm so excited to be here with you all this evening. I oversee our pre college student life team, and my team is responsible for all of the outside of the classroom events and activities, and generally life on campus or online outside of the classroom. And I'll pass it over to Yolanda.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm Yolanda Davis. I'm the Assistant Dean for Brown Pre-College Programs. Looking forward to talking to you all today. I oversee the program directors and also the instructors. So while they're building all the curriculum for you, they're excited for you all to join us this summer. So let's go ahead and get started and talk about Summer at Brown. So Summer at Brown is our largest pre-college program. It represents most discipline areas at Brown, whether online or in person, with the majority of courses happening in person. So I think Dan mentioned we have so many courses, over 300, so you have more than enough to choose from this summer. Students have the opportunity to pick from over 300 pre-college courses and 1 to 6 weeks long. So you might want a 1 week course, a 2 week course. There's really something for everybody. In 2023, over 6,000 students, as we mentioned, joined us, and we had them from about 74 different countries. So just thinking about being in class with people from Asia, Africa, the US, kind of all over, Chicago, New York, many different people in the classroom together, whether online or in person. A large population of our students are rising 10th through 12th graders. Every year, we see this number continue to grow as more students share the great impact that our pre-college program has had on them. And so majority of our students, they come to us because their friends, their families, they told them about our programs. What I find most exciting about the courses is that they have something for everyone. And so students really do have the opportunity to learn from diverse instructors and classmates. With so many instructors and students from different locations, backgrounds, interest areas, you'll join a community of people who really bring a broad and deep perspective to their learning, and they do so while balancing fun and rigor at the same time. As you browse through the course catalog on the pre-college website, you'll notice we have such a wide variety of courses in different discipline areas, such as engineering and technology, business, economics and legal studies, psychology, visual arts, and so much more. For example, students may take a 1 week in-person course about presenting yourself in words, where students will draft, workshop, and revise their own personal essays, while also reading and analyzing published essays in class discussions, or they may join a 3 week course that's online, such as Racism and Health, from a physiological to societal perspective, and learn about how racism can play a critical role in health outcomes for marginalized groups. I enjoy stopping by classrooms to hear students, and they are actively engaged in class discussions and group work. Also, just hearing about, what they've learned during the day. What are they studying? And so if you're here this summer, you will see us throughout the summer stopping by your classroom and learning from you all as well. Our curriculum really emphasizes student-centered learning. And so having a diverse group of students and instructors really provides me an opportunity to see students challenge themselves as they think of new ways of approaching their learning and just critically thinking about how their new insights impacts themselves and also those around the world. Students get a taste of what college life is like, academics, and they're able to enroll in classes from, again, 1 to 6 weeks long. So you really get to choose if you want online, on campus, and what the length of the course really should be for you during the summer. And you don't have the pressure of formal grades or credit if you don't want to. Those students do have the opportunity to earn a certificate upon completion of their courses. You will not get grades for these particular courses. Overall, students have a chance to meet people from all over the world, and many of their classmates will become lifelong friends. When students are ready to go off to college, they will be so familiar with what to expect from college due to this particular experience. Then, do you want me to say a little more?
Nope. So I think we're going to move on to talking a little bit more about online and on-campus differences.
Okay. All right, so whether students take a course in person or online, they are truly in for a life-changing learning experience. When choosing between in person and online, think about your learning style and what commitments and flexibility you may need during the summer before choosing to take a course online or in person. So, on campus courses provide students the opportunity to physically engage in person with other students and to meet their instructors in person, as well as explore the campus when they are not in class. So, if students choose an in person course, they will be required to attend their class for 3 hours daily, Monday through Friday, during the dates they are enrolled in the program. And they can also expect about 3 hours of studying outside of class each day. All courses start at 8:30 a.m. or 12:15 p.m. or 3:30 p.m. So you would choose between one of those three. Students have the opportunity to decide where on campus they want to study, whether it's on the main green in the campus center, in the building your class is held. You get to have a choice in that and just kind of explore the campus. And also think about what time works best for you. Since you're picking which time you're going to have your class happening, also think about, do you like studying later in the day, midday? Take that into consideration as you're choosing a course. And also balance that with additional activities that are offered by our student life team, which Brittany will share more about later. When choosing an online course, students have the ability to learn from anywhere in the world and in the format that best fits them. So students practice self-discipline and personal responsibility as they are more in control of setting the stage for when and how they want to learn. If students take an online course, they have three different types of courses to choose from. And so you have asynchronous, mostly asynchronous, or blended. If you're choosing asynchronous, the course will be offered entirely asynchronous. Therefore, you can learn on your own daily schedule, allowing for the most flexibility and self-directed learning. Sometimes students get confused with asynchronous and they expect a live session. And so if you're expecting a live session, you're going to want to choose between mostly asynchronous or blended. And so the mostly asynchronous course will include a majority asynchronous content, but it will have a few optional live sessions with your instructor and classmates each week to supplement your course material. And so those live sessions are recorded and they're optional, so you don't have to necessarily attend it live, but you will have to watch it if you didn't actually attend live. If you're going to a blended course, the course will include asynchronous content, and also you'll have between 1 to 3 pre-scheduled courses that are live each week. So really think about that. If you have a really busy schedule, you're going to want to see what time is that scheduled course held for live, and then are you able to make it? Because you can't miss those for blended courses. Again, those are required and they're really important for that course experience. All right, I'll go to the next slide. So whether in person or online, all students will have the opportunity to join instructors for office hours. When you begin your class, you will see your instructor's office hours listed on your syllabus. The instructor will inform you where the office hours are located, whether it's on the main green, in the campus center, your classroom, online, or somewhere else. I encourage you to take advantage of getting to know your instructors and having all of your questions answered as you embark on this new journey. It can be a little nerve-wracking sometimes, but your instructors want to meet with you. And so while you have their attention for 1, 2, 3, or 4 weeks, make sure that you take advantage of that. Students often keep in touch with their instructors, even if the class has ended. Some ask for letters of recommendation, some want to know more information about the topic of study, but it's important to build that relationship. Additionally, as you work on assignments, projects, prepare for tests, office hours is really a great time to take advantage of gaining any clarity you needed about what you learned in the classroom. That's an overview of Summer at Brown's program, especially as it relates to the classroom. I'm going to turn it over to Brittany so she can share with you about the student life experience.
Thank you, Yolanda. So now that you've heard from Yolanda about the overview of the academic component of Brown Pre-College, I'm sure you're probably wondering what the experience outside of the classroom is like. So the thing that I personally find most exciting about Summer at Brown is really how it truly mirrors the college experience. Students live in the residence halls, they eat in our dining halls, and they experience the full spectrum of college life. College campuses are filled with wonderful resources and opportunities for engagement that enrich the overall experience, and this is certainly the case for our programs as well. By taking advantage of extracurricular activities and events, you'll definitely be able to strengthen your connection to a robust community of peer scholars while developing important personal and social skills such as interpersonal communication, self confidence, and many more. Starting from about 9 o'clock in the morning until our curfew, which is 10 p.m. each night, there are a wide variety of activities and events that are offered each day, and they fall into one of three overarching categories. So, first, we have educational and developmental workshops. We offer a series of workshops designed to help you prepare for the college application process, including how to write a college essay, finding a college that's the right fit for you, financial aid, and many more. We also offer workshops about leadership development, identity exploration, and opportunities to engage with student organizations that are connected to some of these important topics and some other areas of interest too. Second, we have our mentor groups. In your mentor groups, you'll build meaningful connections and relationships with a diverse group of peers while discussing various transitional elements of college life. These conversations and mentor groups are led by either graduate or undergraduate students who are well versed in the various resources available on college campuses and who've navigated that process before. So you'll leave with some really concrete takeaways for how to manage your transition to college as successful as possible for your unique circumstances. And lastly, it's important to take some time to have fun. So each day we offer additional opportunities for you to socialize with friends, to meet other students who share common interests. And some examples you can see on the slideshow of past social events include movie nights, bowling trips, board game parties rather, and recreational activities such as ultimate frisbee, yoga. One year we had some really dedicated Harry Potter fans, so we had Quidditch games on campus too. So, the folks who are helping to facilitate this are staff. We have approached this out of the classroom experience for our students who are enrolled online in a really similar way to how we approach for our on campus students. And I'm really proud of the offerings that we've provided in past summers and how we've already enhanced them for future summers. So, our most popular events and offerings that I mentioned earlier definitely apply to our online students as well, with obviously a slightly different delivery method. Our online students will be able to participate in the educational and developmental workshops and webinars. And you're certainly encouraged to attend one or more of our weekly webinars that focus on topics essential to college admission selection and application and preparation. We focus on making these events really interactive, so they're more engaging than a typical lecture style webinar. And our webinars will include things like group discussion, live Q&A, and a lot of reflective activities to keep you engaged throughout. We really are looking forward to interacting with you in either format this summer, and I'm certainly happy to answer any questions that you may have about the student life experience.
Great. Thank you so much, Brittany and Yolanda, for sharing all that information. So we're going to transition now to our Q&A. I've already seen lots and lots of questions come in throughout the evening. So again, if you have any questions, submit them below at the Q&A function. We'll try to answer as many as we possibly can live, but we also have our program advisors who will also chat some responses as well. Um, so I'm going to start, and I'll take this one, Brittany and Yolanda. One of the most common questions we get tonight and pre-submitted is how much does the program cost? And questions about, are there opportunities for financial aid? And so these are great questions. So the cost really depends on the program that you're doing, the length of time you're taking the course. So the best place to find all this information is if you head to our website, precollege.brown.edu. And at the very top of the website, you'll click on costs and aid. And there you'll find the page of program dates and costs. And so if you identify which program you're interested or course you're interested in and how long that course is, you'll be able to use that table to see the cost. You'll also see a page for scholarships. And so if you are interested, definitely peruse those. I believe there are 4 opportunities for scholarships. They are, for the most part, first come, first serve. So it is something important to know that once you apply, you don't need to wait for a decision from us before you apply for a scholarship. So if you are interested in a scholarship, once you apply, you can apply for that scholarship before you even hear back from us. But that's also available on the costs and aids page. Um, let's start off with Yolanda. Some questions. We're seeing some questions around, are there things people should consider when choosing a course? Do some courses have prerequisites? Any insights that you have for course selection?
Yes, of course. So as you're thinking about like what course should I take during this summer? Typically, you're going to take about one course at a time, maybe two at most, but typically most students take one. You're in that course for 3 hours a day, plus you have to do 3 hours worth of homework. So you're very busy, especially if you want to engage in all this fun programming that Brittany just shared with us. And so consider subject areas that you really enjoyed in high school or areas that you say, you know what, I've been curious about this subject area and I want to know more. And so I might want to use this time to just kind of test the waters with it and to see how I'll do. There's no pressure of grades. So this is the ultimate time before you even get to college to kind of try some things out. And so think about what are you good at? What are you interested in? But then also, what are you just curious about? So even if it's an area that typically in high school you wouldn't have considered, but you had interest in that area, try it out. See how it goes. Always look at the prerequisites though, because that's going to tell you whether there's a requirement that you need to know or have knowledge ahead of time before taking that course. So such as an advanced math class, you might want to make sure like, I have this class already in order to prepare for the class I'm going to take. Most of our classes don't have prerequisites, and they're pretty much open, but there are some that are a little bit more challenging, and you want to make sure that when you come to that class, you're kind of ready to prepare for that workload. But yeah, just think about what you're interested in. But everything is great. We have such great classes, such great instructors. People are learning at different levels. And so never be scared, like, oh my goodness, I don't know that much about this. Others in your class also don't know that much. And so it's okay.
Thank you,
I hope
Yolanda.
that helps.
And correct me if I'm wrong. They can see like course date or like the times of day and all that on the course catalog, correct?
Yes, the
Under the
course
course.
catalog has everything you can think of, whether it's on campus, online, what time of day it's occurring, who your instructor is. There's going to be a lot of information that you can get on that course catalog. And then
Yeah,
our program advisors are always there to support you if you're having some issues trying to navigate that course catalog.
yeah, yeah. Great, thank you.
Mhm.
Brittany, the hot topic of the evening coming up a lot is housing. Housing on campus, roommates, lots of questions around that. So could you just give us a general overview a little bit about housing and how do roommates work?
Definitely. Yes. So if you are planning on studying on campus and you are not commuting, you're planning on living on campus, you would be housed in one of the Brown University residence halls. And the res halls look very different all across campus. So I can't tell you exactly what your room will look like or what your roommate situation may be because it varies. So students would either be placed in a single, double, or triple occupancy room. Some buildings have only singles, some buildings only have doubles. It just really varies based on the buildings across campus. But if you do have a roommate, you should expect to learn that information when you arrive for your program. So you'll find out what my housing situation is, if I have a roommate, who that person is, when you arrive for the start of your program. In most cases, students are assigned to a residence hall based on the duration of time that they're on campus. So if you are going to be studying with us for 3 weeks, you will move into a residence hall with other students who are arriving that weekend who are also here for 3 weeks. That way you can build community, get to meet other folks who are on campus for the same amount of time that you are. If you do have a roommate or roommates, we aim to make sure that all of the folks who are living in that room are within 1 year of your age. Uh, all of our students who are residential will also have access to dining halls, so it's important to not just have a place to sleep, but a place to eat. Brown University dining halls, for the most part, are all you care to eat. So
Yeah,
when you swipe into the dining hall, you will be able to sit down and enjoy as much food as you would like. Um, and they will have a wide range of different dining options to meet pretty much any dietary need. So, vegan, halal, kosher. If you have allergies, we have a really wonderful dining website that goes really in depth on every single ingredient used in any meal in the dining hall. And we also have staff who are working in the dining halls that can answer any questions that you may have as well.
Yeah.
Some of the things that you might find in the dining hall, our main dining hall is affectionately called the Ratty. The technical name is the Sharp Refectory, but all students call it the Ratty. And you'll find sort of rotating daily special bar, salad bars, burgers, pizza, pasta, dessert. One of my favorites, and definitely one of the student favorites, is a soft serve ice cream machine. I hope that you won't only eat ice cream while you're here, but I've seen it before. Um, and if you want to actually physically see what the dining hall is like, if you go on to our TikTok or Instagram and go to the Ask an Advisor series, there is a really wonderful video that will sort of give you a tour of what our dining situation looks like so you can see for yourself too.
Thanks for shouting out our TikTok. And pizza. I feel like last year when we interviewed students, pizza and the ice cream machine were like top tier comments the people loved. And Brittany, remind me, they get 3 meal swipes a day, correct?
Yes, thank you. That's really important. So, if you are a residential student living on campus, you get 3 meal swipes a day. So, the dining hall will be open from usually the hours haven't come out officially for the summer. So, don't quote me officially, but usually it's around 7 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. open for the entire duration of that time period. And you can go in 3 different times, once for breakfast, once for lunch, and once for dinner. If you are a commuter student, so you're not living on campus, you'll
Mhm.
also have 1 meal swipe to use. So when you're here for your class, oftentimes that's going to overlap with a meal time. We want to encourage you to stay on campus, to study, to meet with your group for your academic courses, and to engage in student life events and activities. So you'll also have 1 meal a day if you're a commuter student.
Great. Thank you. And to reiterate what Brittany said, if you have food allergies or anything like that, plenty of options to assist you with that. And if you need any help navigating that, definitely reach out to us beforehand. Um, Yolanda, we're getting a lot of questions around, can I take 2 courses at the same time? Is that advisable? Like, how many hours can they expect to be doing work for 2 courses? Like, any insights on that? And I forget if you mentioned that a little bit in your last question.
Yeah, so we really recommend that everyone take one course at a time. If you feel very ambitious and you want to take two, we'll approve that. But you have to understand there's a lot of work that comes with summer at Brown. So you're in class, for, as I mentioned earlier, for 3 hours straight. And then beyond that, that one class is going to give you about 3 hours of homework. And you're also going to want to attend field trips. You're going to want to attend different student life events that are happening on campus. And so you want to have the full experience. You need to eat. You have to go to the Ratty and get some food. And so you have to really make a schedule for yourself. So you don't want to max yourself out. So if you take two classes, that means you're having 6 hours of instruction back to back. And it also means that you're having 6 hours of homework. And you don't want to do that to yourself. So I would really strongly encourage you to take one class at a time. And with that one class, really engage with your students and the other students in the class, the instructor, the TAs, get to know people on campus and other classes as well. Sometimes there are students who are unable to sign up for a certain class, but they want to meet that professor. And so they might even email them and ask them a few questions. So really take full advantage of the experience. It's not just the class you're taking, but it's the full experience of being in the pre-college program and being at Brown. So the balance of course academics, but also the student life aspects is really important. So again, encourage you to take one, but you can take up to two, but really think about what kind of day do you want to have and how long is your program? And so some classes are just 1 week long, some are 2, some are 3. The more weeks you're in class, obviously it's going to be a little bit more challenging because you have more work to do. And so you don't want to drain yourself out by trying to take too many things in one day.
Yeah, great. Thank you. And one thing for that, we always recommend, if you're interested in 2 courses, reach out to us and just make sure that you can take those 2 courses at the same time. Most classes, it's okay, but there are some exceptions. So definitely, if you are thinking of 2, reach out to us, and our program advisors can help walk you through if that's possible or not. Brittany, another very popular question. Basically, when students are not in class, what do they do? Are they monitored? Are they not monitored? Um, and what happens on the weekends?
Yes, great question.
Big question.
Um, so I'll start with the weekends. So yes, many students, as Yolanda just mentioned, will take courses for more than 1 week. So similar to weekdays, there's going to be a ton of options on the weekends for students to remain engaged in events and activities. We offer opportunities for students to sort of head off campus, explore Providence, Rhode Island in general. Some student life staff will accompany students on those off-campus excursions, and some examples of past trips include things like a trip to the Museum of Science up in Boston or a whale watching tour. And of course, being the ocean state, we like to throw in some trips to local beaches too. And then in terms of like, are we monitored and what does that look like? So, as I mentioned, our experience really is meant to reflect a typical college experience and help students develop independence. So, with that, traveling off campus and not being supervised or monitored in all of their outside of the classroom time is an important component of our Summer at Brown program. And so, definitely something for you and your families to consider as you decide if this is the right choice within our suite of offerings. So, College Hill, where our campus is located in Providence, has a ton of fun shops and restaurants that students like to frequent. That's just maybe a block or so off campus. So, we'll see plenty of activity on their street. But it is important to note that our students are able to travel around the state of Rhode Island without any additional parent or guardian permission, with just a caveat of Rhode Island is the smallest state. So while that sounds really daunting, maybe if you're logging in from Texas, it's not very far to go within the state of Rhode Island. If you were looking to travel further than that, or if you were looking to be gone past our curfew overnight, that would be an instance in which you would be required to have parental permission or guardian permission for those travels. But outside of the classroom, you'll take attendance in class. We'll have a curfew each evening, but there is a lot of independence. So we're expecting our students to come with a level of maturity that they can navigate that outside of the classroom experience, knowing there's a ton of offerings on campus. We have plenty to do for you to stay engaged on campus, and it's up to you to choose how you spend that free time.
Great. Thank you, Brittany. So this one's I'm gonna go back to you, Brittany, because this one's kind of related. But someone's saying like this is, the first time our son or daughter will be away from us. So just wondering, like, what does it look like? Are people checking in on them, making sure they're doing well? Like, just any general information that you can provide around that.
Yes. So they're not sort of left out to fend for themselves. Our staff is really engaged with students. So within the residence halls, we'll have many staff members living there that are there to help support and engage with students in the residence hall. And then across campus, the folks who are running all of these wonderful excursions, events, and activities are also our student life staff. And they're well trained to be supportive, help students navigate this potentially new level of independence and freedom as they're experiencing this college-like setting. And there are also multiple offices across campus that are here to make sure students are safe and feeling supported too. So our student life team, the seasonal staff who are living in the buildings and working our programs and events and activities. We of course have many safety things in place, like our Department of Public Safety, that's our campus police, our health and wellness office, and many others that are looking out for all of our students on campus.
Great, thank you. Um, Yolanda, I have two for you. First one is some people are wondering, do you have any information about in general, like what class sizes tend to be? Any insights on that?
Yeah, so our typical class size is around 18 to 24, with most being 18, but some being 24. We probably have 3 or 4 that may be around 32, but the
Mhm.
typical class size is around 18 and 24 for the most part. If you're in a lab, it may be even smaller, or an intensive writing class, they may be around 12 to 14 for the class size.
Right. So no 200 entry level
No,
chemistry.
none of those. So the largest it could possibly be is probably 32, but there aren't that many of those, probably like less than 5, but between 18 and 24. So if you have 24 in the class, there's usually a teaching assistant that's also gonna be in there with that classroom teacher, or there may be a co-instructor as well.
Nice. Okay. And then the other question is, I know you mentioned a little bit about office hours, but people are wondering, can students connect with their instructors outside of class? Like, how receptive are instructors to connecting with students outside of class? Any other insights?
Of course, instructors are so happy to connect. I mean, I'm talking to instructors now. They're already excited about the summer, and we have months and months to go still, but we know it's right around the corner. They're looking forward to meeting you all. That's why they're here. They're really interested in their subject area, and so they want you all to ask them questions. Many of them have done research in these different areas, and so they want to engage in this. And so you're choosing that class because you like the topic that you're reading about, that you're studying about, and so does that instructor. And so why not beyond the classroom doors say, you know what? Let's talk on the main green and have a 30-minute session and talk about whatever questions were lingering that you didn't get to while you were in the actual classroom. Or it may be something you learned, whether on TV with some other friends in your class at home, within your high school, that you just want to know more information about. You can ask your instructor. Or you might need a recommendation letter. So you're building a relationship with that instructor to make sure that, when I leave here, I want to make sure I have a good connection. They learned about me, I've learned about them, and there's someone that I trust for the future as well to be able to kind of speak to my growth in that classroom. And so I definitely encourage you as much as possible, go to office hours. Your instructors will have office hours every single week, and you should definitely take advantage of it. Don't think that, hey, do they really want to be bothered with me? They do. They tell us all the time that they wish that more students would come to office hours. And so make sure you take advantage of that. And if I see you on the main green, I'm going to ask you too. Did you take advantage of office hours? Make sure you're seeing your instructors. If you see me on the main green, make sure you say hello. Yolanda, don't forget, say hello.
We'll definitely see all of us on the main green.
Yeah.
And office hours, I always found were the key to success in college,
Mhm.
grad school, all and so forth. Um, I can take this next question, seeing some questions around basically, can I apply to two different programs? So for example, summer at Brown and Leadership Institute. This is a great question. So when you apply, you're actually applying to Brown Pre-College as a whole. So Brown Pre-College is the umbrella. And then underneath that, you have all of the separate programs. So Summer at Brown, Leadership Institute, STEM for rising 9th, 10th graders, so on. So when you're applying, you're just applying to Brown Pre-College as a whole. And then if you're admitted, you can then go and select any course from any of those programs as long as you meet the requirements for it. So like age requirements or any prerequisites, and that there's still a spot available in that course, which is the great thing about the application. You don't have to do a separate one for Summer at Brown and a separate one for Leadership Institute and all that. So it's one application, and once admitted, you can choose whichever one of those that you would like to, as long as it's still available. Um, Brittany, I had one for you. Where did it go? Oh, can you talk a little bit about, so students coming to Providence, and many might be flying from distances and they might not be with family or friends or anyone. So can you talk a little bit about how do students get to campus traditionally?
Yes, definitely. So students would be responsible for coordinating their own transportation both to and from campus. And we'll see students take just about every mode of transportation. We have students who drive, students who fly into a local airport. We have a local airport in Providence, and then Boston is not too far of a drive as well. Sometimes folks are taking a bus or a train. However, it is that you decide to come to campus, please be aware that you would be responsible for coordinating that transportation and all of the details. We do not offer any transportation services to airports or train stations or bus stations. So, as a part of your plans for getting to campus, it's not just getting to the airport; it's getting from the airport to campus as well.
Right. And another question for you, Brittany, that is coming up is just in general, all these wonderful experiences you're talking about, like excursions, sessions, like workshops and all that, or like paint night and frisbee and all that. Do the students have to pay to do those? Is that
Oh,
included in the cost for the summer?
yes.
Um, yeah,
Excellent question, and I'm sorry I didn't mention it before. So all of our extracurricular activities are completely free of charge. But if a student is opting, like, I want to go to Thayer Street and go to a restaurant in my free time, of course, you should plan on bringing some pocket money to do any of those types of things. But paint nights, movie nights, a trip to the beach, a trip to the Museum of Science, we will cover transportation, we will cover the cost for admissions or tickets or whatever it may be. And if you're gone for a meal period, we'll also make sure that you have food while you're on that excursion too.
Great. Yeah. We will take care of everyone.
We will definitely take care of you.
And then I just want to be mindful of time. So I think this might be our last question, but I can take it. And feel free to jump in, Brittany or Yolanda, if you have anything to join. But are there any must-haves when we go to campus, like necessities that we need to bring, things like that? And so there will be a packing list available for you of things that we highly recommend. That will be available to you in, I believe, a month or so, month or two, on your enrolled students pages, which will go live in the next month or two. And on that will include the packing list, things we highly recommend, tips about, Rhode Island weather, and things to consider about Rhode Island weather. There's also a video on our YouTube and and on our social media that has the packing list. So if you want to go to that, that's on our social media and YouTube. There's also a video that a student made last year that's also on our social media, where she went around interviewing people, like, what is one thing you wish you brought that you did not bring? And that's always useful. Umbrella was one of them. That was a common one. Um, so thank you everyone for questions. Thank you, Brittany and Yolanda, for taking time to answer all those. We definitely did not get to all the questions, but I will provide our information. So that way, if you have any questions that you really wanted answered, that we weren't able to get to, follow-up questions, or any questions that come to you after this presentation, that you can reach out to us. Oh, and a real quick side note that I just noticed on a lot of the questions were, will this presentation be shared with us? And yes, it will be. So if you're here with us this evening, it will be emailed to you in the next 2 weeks. And it will also be available on our website and YouTube, if you misplaced that email. So yeah, any questions, definitely reach out to us. Email us at precollege@brown.edu or give us a call during business hours. We have 5 amazing program advisors, 2 of which are here with us this evening behind the scenes. I say this every webinar, they are the encyclopedia of our office. They really know the ins and outs of like everything. So no question is too small or too big. Like I know Yolanda, you mentioned earlier, like if you're trying to figure out which course to take, like I'm thinking of these 3 courses, which one would be best for me in my experience? They can help you do that. They can help you figure out what to bring. They can help you figure out like getting to campus, things like that. So definitely reach out to them. And we pride ourselves that when you call, you do reach a human, and we are very quick to respond. And then we always like to encourage you to follow us on social media if you don't already, at Brown Pre-College. Again, we have a lot of videos and clips from students and student experiences so that you can see it. For example, today we just posted another day in the life of one of our online students from last summer, so you can kind of see what the online experience is like. So definitely follow us there. So again, thank you to Brittany, Yolanda, for joining us this evening, for sharing more about student life and summer at Brown. And thank you everyone who joined us this evening, wherever you are, and spending a little time to learn more about Brown Pre-College. We really appreciate it. So thank you again, and have a great night, everyone.